Or do the rich buy that the poor don't even know is available for purchase? You can rent celebrities for your private events. Not just musicians, but bona fide actors and actresses. Super rich guy in Bel Air used to host his kid's birthday party in late October, so they went all out for a Halloween themed party. Everyone at the kid's school was invited, plus their own friends. Each year they'd hire some fantastic athletes to appear at the event. One year it was Tony Hawk, another year it was some Olympic gold medal gymnastic winners. The one that threw me was when they hired Demi Moore, Anthony Kiedis and Benicio del Toro to be guests at the party, to hang out and pretend they were friends with the kid. Mind you, this was a kid's Halloween party, set outside in a huge, massive garden, spread out over tennis courts and lawns, with games, buffets, dessert tables, taco stands, omelette stands, BBQ, pizza, burgers, etc. No booze, no one allowed inside. All the event staff were dressed in Halloween costumes. It was very cool, but it was sad to see Kiedis and del Toro sitting together commiserating. You could see the frap, the things we do for a paycheck look on their faces. They were at a kid's party FFS. Demi was very nice. She brought her little doggies. Health and happiness. Seriously. My ex-wife's family was uber wealthy and for a few years I got to experience a slice of how the other half live. It really is like a club. But staying on topic, health. Everyone had a ton of meds, minor things you wouldn't pay any attention to they had meds for. Red skin from the sun? Meds. Going through a tough month at work, they got pills for anxiety at the drop of a hat by their family doctor who was on speed dial. School stressing you out? You now have ADHD, here's meds to focus. The more money you have, the less of a doctor you have and more of a legal drug dealer you get. As for the happiness part, that just comes with the comfort of wealth. Their house was massive, and in the quiet, gorgeous countryside outside of the city. There's so much you don't consider when you live middle to lower class. Noise is non-existent. You get so used to it living in a city or even in the suburbs. Their house, couldn't see the neighbors, can't hear anything except birds chirping. The street was so far from the house you couldn't hear the cars driving by. It was peace and silence. The thing is, it's exponential. If you're healthy and happy, you can work better, think clearer, and that led to better life decisions that resulted you making more money. The cycle repeats. They treated their health as an investment. If they were healthy, they made more money. If they made more money, they could afford to be healthier. Gold pills that make your poop golden colored. I'm not even making it up, look it up. I thought you were making a joke. No, this is really a thing. Why? A while back some guy on here was talking about his experience working as a sort of personnel manager for a billionaire and how things are just wildly different for them. The specific example he used was how things work when these people want to go on a trip and give any notice at all to their employees. What happens is that an advance team gets sent ahead by a few days to scope out the rented board location and report back exact dimensions for closet space, drawer space, etc. People back at the home go through the clothing, jewelry, etc. and draw up a priority list which is sent to the advanced team. The advanced team then spends the next days purchasing the list of items. Entire wardrobes, jewelry sets, makeup kits, bathing supplies, etc. Anything they cannot get, not enough time, or is one of a kind like the family heirloom watch the rich dude wears every now and then, is relayed to the house team. The family's schedule is arranged such that the moment the family leaves the house on the day of travel, a whole team of people rushes through and packs up all the remaining items. Only after the family leaves, you wouldn't want to deny them access to their items for even a few seconds, which are then sent ahead to the airport while the family has a lunch or something somewhere. Upon landing, their luggage takes one route, direct, and the family takes a similarly indirect route, unless otherwise directed, such that by the time they get to the location all of their items are not just unpacked but in their proper organized locations and ready for use without any of the advanced team ever being visible to the family. What happens when the family leaves the location? The same situation in reverse, but quite frequently all of the repurchase items are just disposed of in some method. It's just easier, if not cheaper, to rebuy them each time the family goes somewhere if they aren't traveling to too many different locations in quick succession. This is some Pharaohs of Egypt level crap. How are these billionaires even functional people when literally everything is done for them in life? Will Smith recently said in an interview that Oprah has been famous and wealthy for so long that she just forgets about the simplest things because she's used to her minders taking care of things like carrying her coffee. Will Smith then mentioned that he once saw Obama fetch some food for Oprah. I have seen this happen with a multi-millionaire CEO, not even a billionaire, is the point. I was at a social party for business, and this CEO set his drink down on a side table as he was talking to a small group. He walks away a couple dozen feet, the conversation finishes, and he just holds out his hand like the drink is going to magically reappear. He held his arm out like that for a good 10 seconds or so before looking down at his empty hand, then behind him, and walked back almost confused to reclaim his drink. I was part of the initial conversation and witnessed the whole thing. I can only assume he was used to having an assistant always at his side and waiting to hand him this stuff. A person to go to jail for you in your stead. This is a known phenomenon in Latin America, but I imagine it happens in other places as well. Certainly amongst the accuser it happens. I knew a guy who did 8 years for his boss and got paid. Hey man. My family is one medium accident or bad event away from completely imploding. If push came to shove, I'd serve time to make sure everyone else stays afloat. Private boarding gate at certain airports. Complete with showers, a spa, full bar, lounge, food, a bed, gym, sauna etc. Total privacy. Your luggage is scanned and taken through security by a concierge, and you're driven to the plane in a BMW 8 Series. Lax has them now. Hello, yes, I would like to order some wealthiness just so I can have access to the private boarding gate. Yes, I'll hold, thank you. Actual smart homes. The Alexa Google Home market is bringing it more mainstream, but for decades the wealthy elite have had smart home functionality through companies like Crestron. The controls go far beyond controlling your lights and thermostat, and integrate with more technologies. Everyone knows about mega yachts, but the very rich also enjoy their own trains, or at the very least private super luxurious train cars. With their budgets it isn't expensive to rent space on freight lines and an engine, assuming they don't own their own. Sometimes a group of friends will hook their private cars together and motor around a continent having a big party. Pet cloning. Ex-boss was getting his dog cloned for $100,000. Oh, I've heard of this. There's a company in Texas that does it kinda regularly apparently now. $25,000 for a cat, $50,000 for a dog. It's something like a $1 to $1,000 deposit just for them to send your vet a kit to obtain biosamples and to store the material. You pay the rest of it whenever you're ready to clone your critter. See, I just don't get this. Had a friend whose super wealthy parents did this. Guess what? Different temperament and everything, because it's still its own animal. They thought they were getting another one of their precious snuggle baby, and this one hates to snuggle and gets into everything mischievous. No thanks. I'll always adopt. Best dogs I've ever had have been adoptions. I don't know. If you were rich, you could afford a person to fix that. Unique items. Occasionally you see in the news stuff like hat used in some popular movie auctioned for $80,000 or 5,000-year-old Egyptian statue auctioned for $2 million, and I think, what kind of auction do you even go to buy that kind of thing? Standalone ice machines. These are under-counter appliances whose sole purpose is to make ice, and not just any ice. The cheaper, $2,000 plus, ones make normal crescent-shaped cubes. The more expensive one, $3,000 plus, make clear ice in cube shapes. And then pallet ice makers, $4,000 plus, which is the chibble ice like Sonic has. These are the more entry-level models to boot. Some break 5 digits. I used to work for a manufacturer of these, and at some point a lady was arguing with me because we were shipping a replacement part ground instead of next day, and she made a snide comment about if it were my ice machine she'd bet it wouldn't take this long. I told her, "Mom, I don't have an ice machine." She snapped back all proud like she'd cornered me with, "Then how do you get ice?" I told her from an ice tray, and she replied with, "Well, I don't have to do that. Yeah, well, for the next 3-5 business days you do batch. I do not miss that job at all. Pro tip for those who like Sonic Ice but are short $4,000. You can buy it by the 10-pound bag at Sonic for $1.99 plus tax. Human organs. Steve Jobs used his fortune to gain the system. A quote from the article. Jobs couldn't pay for an organ. Nor could he pay to cut the queue. But what someone with Jobs' resources could do, according to liver transplant surgeons and ethicists, is to use money and mobility to improve the odds either by going to an area of the country where there are more organ donors, or by signing up at multiple transplant centers. It's not for anybody but the rich. It's called multiple listing, a practice some would say is unethical, said Arthur Kaplan, co-chair of the United Nations Task Force on Organ Trafficking and chair of the Department of Medical Ethics at University of Pennsylvania. How many dogs could you fit in one pine cone? Subscribe to find out.